was a good one. And
That
listen,
was good.
I know you're like trying to do everything at once, so I'm glad you could stick around for a little while.
No,
So
me too. And I'm sorry it was so chaotic. I think it
no,
might be like this one may just be titled like fire sign energy. Like it's just a lot happening.
hey, try to make the world a better place. That's what we're doing.
No, it's
Hey, everybody, this is Mary.
and this is Julie.
And you are listening to the High Priestess Hype Club. Some recording. The goal,
We've talked about this before, where it's
Mhm.
like I've scheduled my day so that everything flows perfectly and all of the stars align, then it will be
Right.
fine. They started to crash and burn by like 7:45 this morning. So I've just been trying to like pull it together since then it's like 12:37 and I'm like, I still have 8.5 to 9 hours left of today. How am I gonna do it?
Do it.
So
Did you get your emotional support coffee?
I haven't even had that. I had like a moderate coffee this morning that I made really fast. But then it was like, let's go to the dog park, but I didn't get a shower before then. And then I got back and then like work meetings were just full of tea and drama. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then it was like, okay, we need to try to fix all this. And I was like, Mary, I'm sorry. Can we move our meeting? It's just like,
Of course. No, listen,
running. And I'm like, I have scooched my lunch and now we can do this. And then there's like, can you look this up for me? And I'm like, in a minute. Like, I need to eat, which means record with you and drink this seltzer.
Yes, there you go. Yay, we're here. Hooray.
I know. And I like made a teacher gift. And then I have to drop that off after this. Today's one of those days. And Rickie can't decide if he wants in or out.
Oh, Rickie. Well, Rickie, come on.
Are you in? Or
Are you in?
out?
Are you out? Right?
Right now he is out and he hates it, but whatever.
Yeah, he's like, why don't is Rickie lost? No, Rickie didn't lose his spot. He looks like he has this nice little cushy thing behind you.
So he didn't lose his spot, but I just put it back. He's adjusting well to Mega Desk, which I love. Don't look at this, isn't completely organized here yet, but it's pretty great. I like it. My camera angle seems okay. I think soon enough I will be able to incorporate this mic. Hopefully I'm not breathing directly onto this one.
No, you're fine.
I just hate it when it's like we can't hear it and then it's like, hey girl, you recorded something with you breathing directly into the mic. It's gonna be a fun time. Yes. And I have to like edit it and I'm like, I'm sorry guys. So fine. Hopefully we'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
But I think that's kind of how I am. I'm just kind of like and I have on like my baseball mom t-shirt, but I'm like, whatever, it's okay.
It's super cute. I love that.
See the cat just burst in through the door in the background.
Listen,
dude,
he's not taking it from anybody.
No, he is not. Rickie, what is your problem?
It's like, I want to go where I want to go.
Come here. Did you not get fed? Just sit.
Oh, there he is. He's like, hi. It's me.
It's me. Hi.
Hi.
He's the problem. It's Rickie.
It's Rickie. He's like, me? Oh. He's like, no, it's not.
I know. I love
Of course I didn't get fed. I never get fed here. Meanwhile, he's
I don't know if Tracy fed him or not. And
right.
So he's just, but now he's looking at like the cat from next door.
Uh-oh. Things going down over there. Wow.
Dude, I'm sorry. I will be right back. Hello, listeners. I will be right back. Come on. Come on.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Come on.
Hey, Rickie. Hi. Hi, Rickie. Look at the screen, Rickie. It's me. I know you can hear me and you're trying to figure out where it's coming from. Hey, girl.
Did Rickie take over the podcast for a minute?
He did. He came into camera view and I was like, hi, Rickie. And he like looked around for a minute, but he saw you must have like waved some food or snacks at him because he was like,
he heard the treats hit the bowl.
There you go.
He heard him hit and he was like, oh, snap. And he was in there like lightning.
Yeah. Well, that's good. See, we know what motivates him.
Yeah. Same thing that motivates me. No, I'm just
well, true. I get that.
Need to get his emotional support treats.
Yes. Yeah.
He lives a very hard, food secure life. But
listen, let's be honest. I mean, he has to entertain everybody. It's hard.
He's been, and to be like for real, he has been like really taken care of us, like, since we've been sad,
Mm.
and he's working hard, and
Yeah.
he's doing a lot of checking on people, a lot of snuggling, a lot of
Oh,
letting us pet him, and he likes to be pet. Like, he's
of
kind of
course.
what we call a slew, since we just took the T off of slut, since we didn't want to say slut in front of the kids. But so he's a little bit of a slew.
He's
But
a little bit. That's a good word.
yeah, but he's
Yeah.
been really watching out. So to the point where,
Um,
like, you can tell when he's tired and he'll just be sleeping. He's just like
ugh.
his big breathing. I'm
Gotta-
like, I feel you, Ricky.
It's okay,
I get
Ricky.
it. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been rambling. How are
You're
you?
fine. Things are good. Things are good.
Yay.
I can't complain right now. I mean, I could, but I'm not gonna. Things are good. So by the time this broadcast, I'll be back home. Right now I'm in Spain.
Which is so cool. You European traveler, looking fancy, got that
Um,
lipstick, looking so pretty.
well, thank you. You should have seen it. See me this morning. None of this was happening. None of this. I put this on the tour bus.
I
So
hear you.
I'm doing a tour of the holy sites. So we've got so far
Yeah.
I've been to Fatima, which is beautiful. That was in
Yes.
Portugal. And tomorrow we travel over to Lourdes,
Oh,
which
that'll be awesome.
crazy, crazy. So I'm excited about that. But I grew up Catholic. I don't know.
Same.
Yeah, I don't know if I exactly identify anywhere near that anymore,
All
but
right.
um, hmm, the experience just having that, like, all that knowledge from when I grew up, like, to seeing things now, it's cool.
Yeah.
So, and
That's
I'm taking
awesome.
some photos.
That's great. Did he just break in again? He's trying. Whatever. I'm gonna stop paying attention to him.
Well, listen, Ricky wants what he wants. That's it.
I mean, it's not
Mm,
necessarily, it could be toxic, but maybe not always a toxic way to go through life. It's
right.
just,
No,
I
go
feel
for
like
it.
that's like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I kind of missed the moon. Like, I was kind of like, yes, moon, I see
Um,
you. Hey, girl. But I don't know what's going on, like, energetically. Maybe it's just life. But I feel like today has been
there's a
a
full moon
lot.
in Leo. The full moon in Leo.
Right. And that was on Friday, right?
It was on the 5th. So what date was the 5th? Sunday?
Oh,
Mm,
Sunday. So
Sunday.
still, I mean, it's Wednesday, so it's still closer. Like, we're right on the tail end of that, I
Yeah,
guess.
we're coming out, and
Yeah.
so it's and I mean I can tell you Sunday I was like I was in tears. I was thinking about things and I'm like, why am I so upset at things? And I was like, oh right, it's a full moon. Fuck you, full
All
moon
right. And a Leo full moon.
in Leo.
Woo!
Mm.
Right?
So yeah, so some things were coming back up in my mind, and I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm trying to reframe a lot of stuff. That's how I try to cope with stuff that really bugs me, is I just try to reframe it to something better, you know?
That's a solid technique. I
Yeah.
like it.
Doesn't always work, but I always look for the, like, well, if it had happened this way, maybe it wouldn't have been that good? So
Yeah.
I don't
I
know though.
should
Some
remind
days,
myself of that for
yeah,
today.
yeah, you've had a day, but I think you're killing it. I mean, you're just like, all right, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna move stuff
I
around.
guess I
Everybody's
am.
you
I need
are.
to be kinder to myself about it, because I even,
Mhm.
like, double checked that I took my meds. I was like, did I take my anxiety medication?
Is everything
How
okay?
how how are we gonna do all this? But
Yes.
yeah, I think part of it was just like, I needed to slow down, I needed to take my shower, and then just be like,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm. It's a refocus.
it's all working out. It's gonna be
Yeah.
okay. My hair's dry enough. I don't look crazy on
No, you
the
look
pod.
great.
So it's okay.
You look great. I have the bun going. I have the
Dude,
lady.
your bun looks super cute with your little sassy lady sunglasses on top and your red lip. Like, you're like all like Spanish, Italian, European traveler looking fly.
Trying to. There's some really nice people on this tour. It's they're funny. They're just these folks are, like, they're faithful, but they're funny as fuck. So it's
That's
good. You know what I mean?
awesome.
It's good. It's
Yes.
good to, like,
So it's
as
not
long
like
as,
we're
like,
with a bunch of fuddy-duddy church ladies.
no, there's a couple of those on here, but they don't talk to me. Isn't that weird?
I wonder why.
They don't, but they
Not that
sat
you
with us
want to
the
talk
first
to
night.
them either.
No, they sat with us the first night and then they moved on. And I was like, well, that's good. You go find your people. I'll hang out with my people,
That's right.
you know?
Bye.
Yeah. I think sometimes too we forget. I mean, I know, and maybe they're going through something. I don't know, whatever. But
Sure.
there's a couple of people on this tour that have beaten cancer so far that I've
Oh,
talked to.
wow.
Yeah. And they're like, and there's this one woman, I have to tell you, talk about mind over matter. She's been in remission from colon cancer for 2 years. And she has a
Wow.
little like walker thing that and we're going to like this is not they call us pilgrims, like the guy who's running the tour. He's like, now you're not just traveling, you're all pilgrims, you're having experiences.
Yeah.
But we're earning those because like we're going up steep hills and everything. And this woman with her walker is getting up she doesn't care. She's like, I don't care.
love
I'm
it.
in the back of the line. Yeah, she said, I wanted to go. I go. I'm doing it. That's it. And she's been doing it. So she's a riot. She's a riot. She wears little cute hats with all kinds of sparklies on them. And
I
yeah,
love
she's
her.
adorable. She's adorable. So, but we were sitting at the table talking, and she told me, she's like, no, I knew I had to stay here for my grandkids. And it's like sometimes you just
Yeah.
forget everybody's got a story. And I think
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember that more with people, but I'm also
Yeah.
realizing, like, even though you got a story,
Yeah.
doesn't give you the right to treat people bad.
Right.
So you can have your story. This woman's been wonderful. I don't mean her, obviously, but
Yeah, but there are like people in the world who are like, well, I have a story, and it's like, okay, we all do, but that doesn't mean that you get to get like toxic main character energy.
oh, that's a good phrase. Yeah.
That's something the kids are saying these days,
Oh yeah.
apparently.
Well, toxic. Let's say toxic.
Oh, it's main character energy,
Main
but I just
char-
threw the toxic on the front. Yeah.
No, but I like that toxic main character energy. Yeah, no, you don't get that
Mm-mm.
place in my story
Nope.
anymore. Yeah,
Nope.
it's
Mm-mm.
weird. It's I think when you have time to reflect and be in a different place, I think it can bring up a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
which is good. You know,
Oh yeah.
um, and getting away from the stuff that you usually have to do, and then you kind of have to face like you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going in churches and we're sitting in churches and kind of experiencing things. So that gives you time to be quiet, which
Well, yeah. I'm
I
sorry, and I
don't
cut you off.
no, no. But you know what I mean? I don't know about you, but like as much as I say to myself, all right, I'm gonna reflect and be quiet, and I have this little run, and then boom, I don't have it anymore.
Look, I don't know when the last time I had quiet time was. I mean, if I'm like legit for real,
Yeah.
like I don't take that nearly enough, even to the
Mm,
point where like I got up really early one morning just because I woke up and I was like, well, I mean, I guess I could go downstairs. And I'm like at the kitchen table, like working on my blanket. And I guess Preston heard that I was up and came down. It's like, I mean, it was like 4:45 in the morning. Like it was early.
wow.
And they were like, hey, mom, can you turn the light off? And I was like, no. I was like, and I felt because usually I'm like, probably a little too much, like, yes, of course, my child, but I was like,
Yes.
no, it is 4:45. I am doing this alone in the quiet. You need to go back to bed. Like you we've had a rule with him like since he was like maybe 2 or 3, like you can't get up before 6 a.m. because he would get up at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, like crazy early bird. I'm like, you're the only one in this family who has this. But like I had to like legit be like, no,
No.
no.
Go back to bed.
And like when he went away at first, I was like, I'm a terrible mother. How
Oh.
mean was that? And then I was like, no, no, legit, they need to be asleep or they're going to have a horrible
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And
No,
like,
that's
it's
yeah.
okay to do stuff for yourself sometimes. So that was almost quiet time. Then I got a
Yeah.
little bit for a while, but
Hmm. Yeah.
listeners, if you're hearing Rickie this entire episode outside of my door, I apologize. I probably won't be able to edit all of those out.
So he's like, Mom, Mom.
Yes. And that's what he sounds like. Mom, I used to worry it was a kid. It's just my cat.
I was just over as a kid.
Well, I did because it's like,
I
mom,
know.
mom. And
Mom,
I'm like,
Mom.
Vaughn, and then I'm like, my kids aren't that young anymore. They don't sound like that.
You're like, this is my cat.
Oh, this is Rickie.
This is Rickie. Where's Rolo? What's Rolo up to?
Just running the house. I don't
Oh,
know. He's out
he's
there
busy.
being fine. He only talks for Rickie, which is weird because
Oh.
they say that they don't usually talk to each other, but like he'll do that to get Rickie to come to him so they can like tussle. But
Oh.
like he doesn't really talk to us. He like snugs us and stuff. But Rolo's like, this house is my domain. All of you are my servants.
Smart cat.
Mother, I've seen you've made me a new space, that kind of thing. Whereas Rickie was just kind of like, oh, my stuff. What
Where's
did
my
you do to
stuff?
my stuff? And I'm like, it's better. And he's all like, is it?
Well, is it? We'll see. I'll have to see if it's
He's
better.
gonna bust in that door. I can hear
That's all
him
right.
crying.
I can't wait. I can't wait for him to be like, "Poof."
This is the most chaotic one we've done yet. Hello, everybody.
But you know what? Honestly, this shows that we can pull it together and come together because we're determined to do it. And that's
That's
what
right.
happens. You know, if you're determined to do something, you're gonna do it. Like that woman going up the I'll
Like
take
that
really.
woman going up on those tours, rolling up
Mhm.
those hills, kicking
Yeah.
ass.
Coming downstairs, she had one person was carrying her little walker thing, one person was holding her by the hand,
Yes.
helped her down the stairs. I mean, she's doing it. She's like, I fucks given zero. I'm doing this.
Good for
So
her, dude.
yeah, yeah. So it's good. She didn't yesterday, where do we go? Yesterday we went to Santiago de Compostela, I think it was.
Ooh.
Yeah, and he told her to stay home. It was stay back. It was too cold. And I think, he was right about it. She was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. But today she was like, I'm out and about.
We're good. Good for her.
Yeah. Take a picture of me by the water. Thank you. She's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but that's what I think. It's funny. Because I've had this thing lately where it's like, where's my motivation coming from? Like, I know that sounds like,
Yes.
what's my,
No.
what's my why? They tell you to figure out your why,
Yeah, yeah.
that whole thing. And
Mhm.
that's been coming up a lot for me too. It's like, well, why am I doing this? Like, am I doing
Yeah.
this for, you know? And if I don't want to do it, maybe there's no why to it and I shouldn't do it. You know,
Maybe that's a smart, like, maybe, dude.
maybe. Because my whole thing now is I'm still like I'm on and off with taking care of myself and working out.
I understand.
Yeah,
You're getting a
yeah.
lot of steps in on your trip, friend.
Oh my God, friends. It's been over 10,000 a day.
Uh-huh.
Been over 10,000 a day. And not, like I said, not easy up hills, down hills, downstairs, upstairs, over here, over there. It's like, all right, we're
Yeah.
gonna go up the stairs now. And then you come around the corner and you're like, oh, I'm going there. Okay.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, we're going up. But and my whole thing is, look, if I have to stop halfway up, I will. I haven't
Yeah.
had to. That's been good. So yeah, Maria and I, who I'm traveling with,
Yeah.
we're climbing up a hill yesterday, and um that was an adventure. She's like, "Do you need to stop?" I'm like, "No," but I was like, up the
Yeah,
hill.
yeah.
And then I said to myself, when I get home, this is my why. I don't want to travel, or I don't want to be out and about where I can't make it places. Or
There you go.
yeah, or we were talking about this kind of offline. It's like taking up that space in the world. Like you
Yeah.
feel like you don't want to take up the space. For me, I'm always trying to like shrink myself because
Yeah,
I feel
like make it
so big,
same.
even though I'm not, I'm still trying to. And finally I was like, you know what? I just gotta be.
Mm-hmm.
But some days, I'm like, oh, can I fit through that aisle of chairs people face, back to back? Can I fit through that little
Oh
space?
yeah, dude.
I'm
I
having those
know.
moments.
I remember when I didn't have to worry about that. And I kind of
Yeah.
think about it now, like, oh, these are different kinds of things. And there are
Yeah.
lots of people who have to think about that all the time. And I think
Hmm.
that people often give them a hard time without understanding like why they're in that position, like what's going on with them.
Yeah.
And just talking trash and stuff doesn't help, or
Oh
just
God, no.
I don't know. I get sensitive around it too, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I think a lot of times we're, not conditions the wrong word, but I think sometimes people, how can I say this right? Sometimes people are sort of made to be small. Like I don't want to
Yes.
hear stuff like you're made to be. And then when you have like a weight issue, you're trying to be smaller because you feel bit like, so
Yes.
there's all this like kind of things that like, where's my place in this world?
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm feeling like I have a place in this world just like everybody else. But
That's right.
that's a thing where I think we all struggle, and I hate to say it, y'all. I think women in a lot of ways do. I'm sure men do too. I'm not, but I'm a woman, so I can speak from that experience.
Well, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But I know that like, oh, people I've dated, people different, they've tried to turn me down
Hmm.
because I'm loud.
Well, me
'Cause-
too. And I think that's been
right.
like, and to the point where then I kept trying to turn myself
Self
down
down.
too.
Hmm.
Right. And
Right.
then I really wasn't, I mean, I have friends who I met like within the last, like, that we got to be friends with, like after Preston was born, but before Vaughn. So like maybe 6, 7 years. And I
Mm.
remember talking to one of my friends and he was just like, dude, you're doing awesome. Like, because I was feeling really bad. We were all going to meet each other in person. Like when you're of a certain age, suddenly you have mostly online friends. And then you all start to meet after like you've been friends for 20 years or whatever.
Right.
But we were all going to meet each other. and we're the Heart 4 group, which we joke about. But we went up there and I was just like, they were like, you're fine and it's all good. Only one of them has known me for a long time. This is a really roundabout way of me basically saying that got to the point where I was like, this isn't like how I used to be. Like, I'm really quiet compared to who I was. Like,
Mhm.
I'm really like introverted compared to how I was. And I
Yeah.
don't feel like myself. So I'm glad this is cool and we're all having a good time, but also like I'm a little nervous because we're gonna have
Mhm.
drinks at some point, and then maybe that other, and then am I too much? Like, is it gonna be,
Right.
do you know what
Right.
I mean?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I worry I'm gonna be too much. I
Yeah.
worry it's funny because one of the driver that's here, I don't think he speaks English too well. His name's Pedro. And so
Hmm.
I walk by and I fist bump him. I'm like, "Pedro, what's up?" And,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But he smiles when I do that. But I'm also like, "Am I being weird?" Like, I don't know. I'm just
Hmm.
because I gotta tell you, in some of these streets here in Spain, they're
Yeah.
very narrow. And we're in
Yeah.
a tour bus of like 50 people, and he's
Wow.
navigating these little roads. So when he did it the first time, I was like, "Yeah, Pedro, killing it!" And everybody started applauding,
Yes,
right?
that's
So,
amazing.
but I'm like, should I not be doing that? You have this
Yeah.
moment where should I not be doing this? But then I was like, well, I don't know. He got applaud. And then the second time he did it, I didn't have to do anything. Everybody applauded again. It was great. It was great. Yeah.
I had a
So,
similar thing. It wasn't as amazing and fancy as like, because that's intense. Like, I'd have been like, oh, snap. And then he does it like,
oh,
hell yeah, nice work, dude. And he's like, this
mhm.
is my job. I do this all the time. But like,
Yeah,
but it's still impressive.
it
And
is.
we had a team meeting the other day. It was the first time that all our team of like the people of my role got together in a long time because we're split
Yeah.
up into pods to the point where when we all came back together, I was like, most of these people are new and I don't
Oh,
really know them. And now I'm like one of the more senior people here. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? And I was just kind of like, well, maybe I'm being too much, but we're gonna make some jokes and send some gifts. And do you know what I mean? Like instead
Yeah.
of just like, and we're in a meeting and no one is speaking
Uh,
again.
oh, I hate those.
This will be quiet for the all of eternity. And that's how the meeting used to be. And I was
Yeah.
like, let's see if we can change this up. I
Yeah.
don't know if it will or not, but part of me was like, we have to at least try.
You have to try. Yeah. I think that's the thing. Like, maybe like anything you do that's new. Remember, I think I said this on a different podcast. My therapist said, just do something and do it badly. Like start with it
Yes.
being bad.
Yes.
And it's the same thing. Like if you try that in your meeting and it's like, well, that didn't go over well, let me let me try something different.
Yeah.
I mean, it may be like people may be at first like, oh, can we kind of have fun?
Right. And I think that's
Mhm.
part of it because I always don't like feeling like you can't have any fun. Like I
Yeah.
hate that feeling. And that's probably like a personality thing or whatever. But like you can be professional and still have fun.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
do you know what I mean? And I was like, this is an appropriate place to be this way. We're not
Yeah.
in a leadership call. It's just the people in our role. This is
Right.
supposed to be like a camaraderie kind of meeting. And
Yeah.
we're going to be here in a mid-afternoon meeting twice a week. I hate
Oh,
a mid-afternoon meeting.
after
I
lunch?
load them to 3
Mm.
p.m.
Oh,
And I'm like, oh, you guys, why did we do this? But whatever.
okay. We're gonna make
I'm
it
not
through.
the, I
I have my
understand we're
emotional support call.
managing like 10 to 12 people
Mhm,
trying to
mhm.
work their schedules. Yes, I started making my cold brew again. So I make a cold brew and come in and it's like, okay, we put some
Yeah.
syrups and some milks in this cold brew mug and we're going to
Mm,
try to have fun here. But I
yeah.
know,
That's
but
well, I think especially work. I mean, I haven't been in corporate since 2012, 12,
yeah,
13, somewhere in there. But yeah, I think corporate has changed over the last 10, especially after COVID.
yeah,
And fun is a good thing. Like I think it motivates people.
yeah. Well, and we're all virtual, right? And none of the people, maybe two of them left in in the group have actually been in person. And they haven't been in person with the majority of us. So like, let's just be fun. And we're
Yeah.
not a cameras aren't on kind of group either.
Oh,
So there's a little extra distance, but at the same
yeah.
time, I think it helps because we don't have to be like in our jacket and our shirt, and then like PJ
Yeah.
pants on the bottom. But I feel like because that's how it is.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
nobody's actually wearing like a full suit. We
No,
have
why would
one
you?
person who's just like, I have my work shirt that I keep back here, and when I have to go on camera, I can throw it on real fast. I was like, that's kind of genius.
Well, here's the thing I always wondered about, like with corporate, like if we aren't customer facing,
Right.
Like, so I worked in call centers for years, right?
Right.
We're customer facing through voice. Why
Right.
do why do they have I remember one company I worked for, and I won't name it because it's a very big company, but they came in and said, "Okay, we're gonna go business formal from Monday through Thursday, and then Friday we can go back, not even casual, business casual." And everybody was like, Okay, but we
I'm
don't see
sorry,
like we don't see clients. We're on the phone." And
Mary.
yeah, can you
The
imagine?
implications of this, they're just, I would
Can you imagine?
lose it if I had to go 4 days a week in a call center in a business suit.
Business formal. Yeah, business formal.
Like suit
Dresses
and
and heels.
tie,
Yep.
dresses and heels. Like some places, if you're, identifying female, like they won't let you wear pants on those days. You have to wear like
Mhm.
a dress or a
Yeah,
skirt
dress.
suit.
Yeah.
Like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it was not, and I and they it
I
wasn't
can
just
never
like
go in person anywhere ever again.
but the representatives were like, first of all,
Why?
we don't why? Yeah, we're not customer facing face to face, number 1, and number 2, like, I don't know, that's kind of a lot of money to throw on us to buy business formal suits
Look,
starting
that's
like a
the
month from
truth.
now. You know,
That's the truth.
it was
Suiting is
weird.
not cheap. And that's like a ridiculous expense to put on like some of your lowest paid workers
Workers.
anyway.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I personally, as a PR and marketing person, also think that call center people are very undervalued and underpaid. That is a hard position to be in.
Mhm.
That is a lot of emotional work.
Mhm.
Like, I'll get off my
Oh, yeah.
soapbox, but like,
Oh,
yeah.
listen, let me tell you, I'll tell you, it was a cable company.
Hmm.
Cable is very important to people. Very,
Oh,
very,
yeah.
very, very important. Now I think the internet's a little more important, but at that time, cable was very important.
Well, it's like a
It
lifeline to the outside world, right?
Right.
Plus,
So
it's
if you
entertainment, it's news, it's,
all that.
hitting a lot
So
of meters for people.
yep. And so when it go down, people would panic. And I understand that, but also like there
And
was a
it's
point.
expensive. So it's like, where's
It's
my money
expensive.
going?
Right. Right. It was crazy. It was
Wow.
and I really realized that what the connection was to the outside world when I did that job.
Yeah.
But I remember one woman called in, her daughter called in and she said, I forget what exactly it was something was wrong with her cable. And I went in and she said, she's not getting a certain station, but the station was on a tier that was like, so
Oh,
they
like
had
higher than what
a
she was
higher
paying
tier.
for.
She shouldn't have been getting it. Yeah. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you, like, you might want to leave things alone. And thank God I'm out of that company. But I said, you might want to leave things alone because if she's elderly and she likes to watch her shows and she's not paying for it, you might want to not complain about what's going on with something else. I said, because if
Well,
they
right.
catch that, she's
They'll
going to be,
shut it off.
they'll shut it off and she'll have to pay $40 more a month.
Right.
So yeah, I was lucky I never got monitored on that call, but I did say that to her. I was like, yeah, I
Well,
get it.
look, I'm sorry, but I get it too. And there was this one short period of time when we first moved to Richmond, and I, for the first time in my life, was really having a hard time getting a job, and it was miserable.
Oh,
And I was like, I've never experienced this before. Not to sound like whoo, but like it wasn't something like I interview well. I just couldn't get a foot in the door because I had never lived in such a big space, like
yeah.
city, where I had zero connections coming in. And I
Mhm.
was like, this is challenging. And I remember I was doing the sales job, hate sales, but I was doing door
Yeah.
to door in person cold callings long distance,
Oh,
okay,
girl.
to businesses,
Oh,
crying in my car every day. So I
like you
used
said.
to go in and I wouldn't actually sell to everybody because if we didn't have a better deal, I'm not going to sell it to you.
Right.
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 And I'm not going to lie to you about it. I'm not going to like be like, oh, this will save you money. And then you're paying more because why would I do that? That's not who I am as a person. Find out months later. So I'm not making crap because it's commission only.
Oh, of
Like,
course.
right. And I'm still looking for other jobs, but I'm like, everything sucks. I did learn how to drive around Richmond and where everything is though. But
That's
like,
good.
yeah. But like, I
A plus.
remember then like a few months later, I'm like 2 or 3 months into this job, and they're like, yeah, we just send people to the territory you were in after you, and then they get all the sales because everybody trusted you. And I'm
Oh,
like, oh, you guys are
mm,
assholes. But also
yeah.
like, yeah, I quit shortly thereafter, but
Oh,
I was
sure.
just like, I would do similar things. Like you're saying, like, don't tell them that you're getting this
Mm-mm.
channel because they'll upcharge her or shut it off, and you
Right.
guys don't have a lot of money right now anyway.
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is, like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, you're a single person business. What you're actually running is better deal than what we have. I'm not going to
Mhm.
sell this to you.
Yeah.
But if you ever
Yeah.
decide you would want to, whatever, but like people
Yeah.
make me crazy. And I don't know, because I know it was probably like way in the middle of the night if you're in Spain. But last night I was watching like the State of the Union, and not to get too political, but
I didn't see that.
also there were some really important things in there that I won't touch on. But one that I will is that there was a lot of like, we're going to enact legislation to stop all these extra charges that you keep getting hit with after the fact, whether it's like hotels or concert tickets or whatever, where they have these extra
Mm.
fees that it ends up being like $90+ a night just for
Mhm.
like a resort fee or whatever. And he was
Oh,
like, at
yeah.
one point, he
Oh,
was like, and it's not even really a resort, which I thought was pretty funny.
yeah.
Um,
That's great.
but
That is great.
but I feel like it's like in that vein, right? Like I feel like people need to stop taking advantage of one another just to try to
Mhm.
like make some money and
Mhm.
like think about each other. Like your leadership wasn't thinking about you guys when they're like, you know what, we need everybody to spend at least $150 on a cheap suit per
Mhm.
day, because
Mhm.
suits aren't cheap. Like,
Mm-mm. Nope.
do you know what? Like, so that's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
why don't you all spend an extra like $600 just so you can come to work?
Right. And
And
sit at
it's
a
like,
desk all
and like
day.
where
Mhm.
I'm like at that, that people could be like, I don't know how I'm going to have enough food all week.
Right.
Or just like, I'm working so paycheck to paycheck, I don't really have anything to put in savings.
Right. Right. Well, what was worse about this one was, so this particular company, if you didn't use your vacation time or sick time, you got a payout. And they usually did it
Hmm.
like the same time every year, so that
Yeah.
just one big run.
Right.
And it was right around that time. So they said, well, use your payout for that. And everybody lost their minds. They're like, I'm putting money down on my college kids' tuition. Are you kidding me? That's more
Right.
important. And I'm like, it was definitely
Right.
so tone deaf. It was so
Yeah, dude.
tone deaf, I think. But I don't know if I don't know. I being a small business owner,
Hmm.
like times like this when we're in recessions and stuff like that, you got to ride the wave. Luckily I have
Absolutely.
awesome clients who come back, and I am so grateful for that.
Yeah.
Um, but if you're a small business starting out, if you're, struggling or whatever,
It's
you know,
tough.
it's tough, but it's also, I don't have to worry about having corporate come in and say, well, you can't do it this way, or you can't do it, or don't have fun at
Yeah.
that meeting. Don't have fun at that
Or don't
meeting.
have fun at that meeting. Don't have
Right.
a personality at your corporate party, or you'll get demoted or possibly let go shortly
Yes.
thereafter.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know?
And we don't mean like swinging from the chandelier drunk, just like
No,
you
I
have
mean
a good
like,
time, you're
right.
laughing. Right.
Yep.
So now it's like, okay, corporate seems to be, I read all these stories about people like quiet quitting and all that kind of stuff. And I just want to say,
Hmm.
like, if these things are coming out, like your employees are happier working from home, or you have an employee that likes to go in the office, or you would like,
Why not work with them?
why not work with them? It just, you'll keep
Hmm.
people longer.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of, but I don't think the human, what do you say? People have to stop taking advantage of each other. I also think people have to, s- um, it's kind of overall, like just to put yourself in someone else's shoes, to humanize that experience. And I
Yes.
think that's what we're missing. And I could see it coming, kind of mid 2015, like
Yeah.
14, 15 in there. Now I feel like we're trying, but we're not there yet. So it's
Yeah.
everybody's individual responsibility to try to be, kinder or more compassionate or whatever.
Well, right. And like thinking about community as opposed to like toxic individualism where you're only thinking
Mhm.
about yourself. And yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
no, but I
Yeah.
think I see what you're saying. And I think it's been happening too. And, I'm like getting way too into all this astrology stuff, which I think is fun. I
What?
even
That's
bought a new book. I
wonderful.
bought a book last night. I bought something probably too hard for me, but Planets in
Uh-uh.
Transit.
Fun.
So
Oh,
some
oh,
Robert
it's a great
Hand,
book.
Planets in
Yes.
Transit.
It's a great book. That's a
So I
great
was
book.
like, maybe I'll try that one. Then I'll be like, Mary, I don't understand the difference between IC, MC, all of this reading the sphere of my chart. But like,
I can help you with that.
I know you can, and it will be good.
The other thing I'll just say really quick, because I know
Yeah.
we're coming to the end of our time, but um, I really think that people who um, are speaking up for each other and
Yeah.
like holding that space for each other, really, it's tremendous. So if you're,
Yes.
we talked about our voice being small. It's like when you take that risk to become bigger, even for somebody else, that's like, pat yourself on the back for that, people. Like,
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
and here's the other thing. If you put your neck out from someone and they maybe don't appreciate it or they don't thank you or whatever, that's on them, not you. It's on
That's
them.
right.
So you did what you needed to do in your heart. If somebody doesn't appreciate, maybe you just don't do it for them again. But I think putting your neck out for someone or helping someone is what you want to do for them, and you have to let it go with no strings attached. Like however they react is how they react.
Yes,
Um,
Mary.
I just think it says something about them when you
Yes.
do things for them, and then they for whatever reason, whatever they're going through, like, okay, but that's that, I'm done with that. Like if you're but
I'm
I
like, give
also,
us the Sagittarius, not like tell us how it is, Mary.
it's really, it's true. It's like everybody's in their own place, everybody's dealing with their stuff. We're gonna put ourselves out there, and if someone, because that's what I hear a lot. Well, I did this for this person and they didn't appreciate it, especially
Yeah.
around relationships. Like when I'm reading someone, they'll say, well, I did all this stuff for them, and I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't, it speaks to you how kind you are. It may speak to you how you have to like look at things, like I've had to
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah.
codependency stuff, things like that.
Yeah.
But at least A, you've had that experience, so you can look at it, and B, like walk away knowing you came from the heart with that.
Yes.
So if someone hurts you or someone doesn't appreciate, okay, it hurts. Take time with that, but also know that says a lot about them, not you.
It really
So
does. And I know
yeah.
that too, like, I think some people it takes a while to come to be able to hear that, like
Mhm.
receive it, because I know that people told me that when I was younger and I did not hear or receive it.
No, no,
But like if you can, even just a little bit, like it can make a
yeah,
big difference in like your personal quality of life. So,
it does. It does.
yeah.
And I don't think it burns you out on trying to help people. Cause then after a while, you're like, well, why am I
Oh my
bothering?
God. Yes.
Why am I? And it's like, well,
I've done that
that's
many
that
times.
person.
Yeah.
Sure. But that's
Still
that
have,
person.
even recently, and have
I
to
have
be
to.
just like, okay,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
take a step back. It's not that you're being mean. It's okay. It's okay to
Mhm.
tell your kid that they can't bother you for 20 minutes. It's okay to not bend over backwards to help certain people in your life who
Yep.
often flake or aren't appreciative of the time and energy you're putting into
Helping them. Yeah.
helping
Yeah.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they just might not be in the right place to receive it. They might not be in the
Sure.
right for any of that, but also again, that says it about them.
Right. Not
This
about you
not
necessarily.
about you, right? There's this great book I read. I don't know if I mentioned it here, but The Four Agreements. Have you read The Four
Oh,
Agreements?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like
And
it's
it's an
don't take things
easy read,
personally.
y'all. Like,
Oh, so easy.
it's an easy read with a lot of good, like, info and like
Mhm.
life shifting moments. So,
Yeah.
highly recommend. Yes.
Absolutely. But I always love that. Don't take things personally. Don't assume. Be impeccable with your word and always do your best. And I think
Mhm.
those are like really like, your best may be good, better one day than another, but at least you
Sure.
tried. And also not to take things personally, which that is very hard.
That's hard for
It's very
me.
hard. Oh,
Yeah.
super hard for me. Yeah. But also I have to like step back some days and go, all right, that wasn't directed at me. That's wherever they're coming from. Even if
Yeah.
it's directed at me, they're going through their filter, whatever they're going through. Okay.
That's
Like
right.
I'm gonna step back from this and like take a minute and see how I feel about it too. So
Right.
that's another thing I've done with people too. Advice, folks. If you're like in an argument with somebody, there's been times I've said, I'm gonna say something I really am gonna regret.
Mhm.
So if I keep talking to you, I'm going to it's gonna come out of my mouth. Let me step back for a minute.
Yes.
Couple of days and we'll come back and we'll sit down and talk. I have to cool off. The other thing I've been doing
Yes.
is like I sat down, I wrote this like email one night. I was like, and then I went, I'm gonna wait until tomorrow. I put it in my drafts,
Good for
and the next morning
you.
I got up and I went, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Oh my gosh,
Edit,
what was
edit,
it?"
edit, edit, edit.
Oh, I actually deleted it. I started over. I was like, "All
Good
right,
for
these are my
you.
concerns." Like I could tell it was very like charged with emotion,
Yeah.
and then finally I said, "All right," I was like, "All right, what am I really trying to say here? I'm concerned. Right?
See?
This is my
Yeah.
concern." Boom.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
sometimes not responding right away will save a lot of
Just
drama.
grief and drama. I know. And I am not a verbal processor, which is shocking on here because I process a lot on here. But like
Right.
especially relationship stuff, I usually am really internal about it,
Yeah.
partially because like I don't want to hurt anybody while I'm verbally processing,
Same.
you
Hmm.
know? because I know, and just like you said the other week, like, oh, there's that set, like, don't make Julie angry, Sagittarius, and that, but like, because like I will say things that I'm processing, and sometimes that anger comes out through that, but I don't necessarily mean it completely. It's just what I'm
Right.
feeling at the time, or there's something in there that is a nugget of truth, kind of like you had. You're like, but what is my actual concern here?
Right.
But I don't
Right.
necessarily want to like blast out all the energy around it. That doesn't help, and then you can't see the concern sometimes because you've
Right.
then built that, like, not necessarily a wall,
But
like
it's like, this is my
just like a
position. This is
tension
your position.
between, right,
Right.
between you and that person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's a lot of repair you have to do. I mean, doing repair is important in general. We're not just trying to get around
Sure.
that.
No,
But
no.
like that impeccable with your word, right? Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
let me find a
Yeah.
better way to say this because I have a
Mhm.
lot of feelings currently.
Right. Right. And I have said that. I'm like, I got to step back for like a day. Give me a
Mhm.
day. Let me figure it out. Cause I can feel it. And I have that temper that's like,
Yeah.
my face is on fire. And I'll go,
Flames on
yeah,
the side of
flames
my
by my
face.
face.
Yes.
Yes, that one.
Yes.
Um, did you burn and keep burn?
Burn, burn. Yeah.
Madeline Kahn. We love you, Madeline
I
Kahn.
love her so much.
Yeah, she's amazing in that movie. But yeah, that's it. And I said, I can't, because this will be because of my Sagittarius mouth.
Yeah.
This will be bad. This will be bad. I will find that spot in somebody because my Mercury is in Sagittarius also, but I have a lot of
Ooh.
Scorpio on my chart. So right. So I'm like, I'm gonna find that place that's gonna really piss you off.
Get
Like, and
ya.
I go, this is not what this is about.
Right.
This is not, I'm supposed to be this like spiritual person. Meanwhile, I'm like, I'm gonna go for your jugular and make sure you bleed out.
You have
It's
our charts are varied and nuanced.
yes.
Our personalities are varied and nuanced.
Nuanced. Yeah. And then life experience on top
You
of
can be a very kind, spiritual person
Mhm.
who wants to punch somebody in the face sometimes. It doesn't mean you do.
No, no, no. That's
Who
the
wants to
maturity of being.
verbally go for the jugular doesn't mean you do,
Oh, no,
but you
no.
know yourself as a person.
Yes,
We're all
yes.
flawed.
Yes, we are.
I
We
have
are.
what in my mind, what has been my husband he calls it the broadsword of truth. He's like, I've got this day. It's like I want to pull out this like broadsword of truth that's like, but you need to know what is
Mhm.
real. Like it's like a vengeance almost kind of feeling. That is
Mhm.
just like, and I have to watch that because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
when I get really mad and I'm like,
Yeah.
I flames, and
Flame.
also like I'm going to like tell this motherfucker what it is, like
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
so yeah.
And I'm gonna make sure I drag them across the road while I do it. Like it's not just I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna grab you by your shirt and drag you across a gravel road
Right.
and then step all over you when we get to the other
Well,
side. Yeah, it's really,
like,
I
hey
don't,
everybody, here's how we manifest our anger issues.
yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to be like, all right, I don't think I would want that said to me. So let me bite my tongue.
Right.
Um, but it shows a mindfulness, right? It's a mindful. That's what's
Yes.
missing. People are not
Yes.
mindful right now. We're not mindful.
Yes.
We just react. And then
Impulsive. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And lately, I think because we're in such a hurry sometimes, it's just like, well, I don't have time to think about this. Blah, blah, blah. Off I go.
Right.
So
Right.
we're all just trying to make it, guys. There's no criticisms here. You do what you do. You handle it,
No.
but we're just trying to help you like stop for a second and go, oh,
Oh yeah. And like
yeah.
we're far from perfect ourselves. So
Oh, yeah.
nobody expects you to be either. But we all
No,
can
no.
find ways to like work on ourselves and improve what's
Yeah.
going on and
Yeah. Yeah.
how
It's
we
true
exist and
in this
show
world.
up in the world.
Mhm. So we're hyping you up as usual. That's what we're
Yeah.
doing. So you're doing great, but remember that you can always be more mindful. All of us, all of us. So
Yes.
yeah. So we would love to hear what you thought of this episode.
Yeah, good, bad, initial draft, or you
Right.
take a day and send us
Right.
the next version.
Right. Or you just send it to us. We'll
Just
deal with it.
send it. Either's good.
Either is fine.
Email
We'll,
us at
yeah.
High Priestess
High
Hype
priestess.
Club.
Yes. High priestess hype club at gmail.com. Sorry, I stepped on you, Julie. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh my God, you're fine. It's okay. My texts are blowing up. And
Yes, yes, yes. So
I'm sorry, I was
listen,
distracted. I was very happy to see you and to talk to
I
everybody
know.
else as well.
I know. So, folks, follow us on social media, High Priestess Hype Club. We have a website, let's see,
Hypeclub.live.
hypeclub.live. Yeah, we have that. You can contact us. We know some folks send in some information for their astrology charts. We will get to that. We had a couple of people send in so far. So, but listen, really, let us know what you think of the episode. Like, subscribe. Please let your friends know about us. We want to
Yes.
do episodes that are going to help you. So please let us know what you think. And let's see, Julie, what else is there? I think that's everything.
Just we love
So,
you
oh,
guys.
we love you guys. Don't forget, follow us also on Facebook because we do lives.
On
Facebook
most
Lives
Wednesday nights. Yes.
most Wednesday nights. So you can jump on and see us in action. And
Mhm.
well, listen, Julie, I will see you next time.
Love you
And
guys.
love you guys. And remember, you are magic.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at High Priestess Hype Club and subscribe to us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on now because we're back every Thursday to hype you up. Email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com and tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.